I'm going to...
Okay. Still has the same path. There we go.
So, I randomly found this file on my laptop.
Okay.
Nathan, I want to play a game. You'll discuss how my trends are not murders, but will let your friend get the key to the chains around his ankle. Whether make your choice.
There you go, that was my surprise. I ended up making a Kramer tape and then took my wallet, which has a chain on it, and shook it around for a bit. Anyway, time to actually go grab the actual background music. Actual background music. Go grab this. I need to go to this, that. There. Did you like my little surprise? Or was it too quiet and didn't actually play for you?
I heard some chains rattling.
So then you didn't hear the direct thing. Okay. Give me a second. Let's try getting this to play again.
Well, to be honest, I was expecting you to show me like an image or something. That's why I wasn't paying attention that much.
Are not murders, but will let your friend get the key to the chains around his ankle. Whether make your choice.
Basically, I had attempted to make a Kramer tape.
Oh.
Though, apparently, whenever I try and make an impression of John Kramer, I speak extremely quietly, so it ends up not wanting to play nice. Let's see. It was basically, Hello, Nathan.
That's just a different Megatron.
I mean, it kind of is. It's the same premise. It's a raspy-ass guy.
Hello, Nathan. I wanna play. Your goal's the game. Kill Mewtwo.
Specifically, if I'm remembering correctly, what I had said was, "Hello, Nathan. I want to play a game. You must describe how my traps are not murders in order for your friend to get the key to the chains around his ankle. Live or die. Make your choice."
What if I did like a Kramer voice? Like I think I could, like nail the tone and like the overall ego of like John Kramer.
We are now in all honesty, we already fudged the whole beginnings idea I had so terribly. We might as well actually get into the meat and potatoes. Oh well. Oh well.
Why does nothing ever go like they should?
No clue. That just tells me next time I need to indeed make it louder.
Yeah.
Oh well. I even went through and attempted to make it sound like it was on like a cassette or something.
That what the whole chain thing was like?
No, that was supposed to represent. I was doing that to try and be like, oh look, the chain around the Mew's ankle rattling.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll see if I can't send you the file directly.
Where are you sending it? Or what? Messages? Discord? What?
Discord.
Okay, let's see.
So then you have the direct thing, and then you can figure out at what volume it actually ends up playing at for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great engine.
I think you need to get rid of the static. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I could barely even hear your voice on that recording that because of the damn static.
Ah.
It's like, no wonder I couldn't hear it.
It doesn't help also that whenever I recorded it. Hang on, let me see. I should be able to go track down
Did you have did you have the fan on while you were recording it?
No. I didn't actually. You know what? Here's the raw recording actually. And you will see just how quiet it was when I was attempting to do it loudly directly into the microphone before, and for some reason it was so quiet. I have no clue why.
Okay.
Yeah, so that didn't help either, likely. And why did... Right, I forgot to click that. Oh well. Anyway.
I'm trying to listen to it. And you're talking. Sorry. Don't mean to be those kind of people.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that is like very quiet.
Yeah, you can see why I'm like, I am surprised by how quiet that was. So I was trying to, and it was for some reason working for me of getting it to like 30 volume on my laptop, and I could hear it decently enough. But yeah, it apparently was still just way too quiet for some reason. Anyway.
Okay.
Topic at hand.
Yes. So let's.
Go ahead.
Like this intro has been like so messed up.
Yes.
Like, do you want to like scrap this and like start anew? Like, or do you want to keep this?
Might as well just keep rolling.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so, topic at hand. The morality of John Kramer.
AKA the Jigsaw Killer from the movie franchise Saw.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. I hate murderers.
Who, me?
No, Kramer, Mr. I Hate Murderers.
Right. So, like, I mean, should we spoil some things? Like, should we get into like the manifest of John's story?
Hang on. Here's an answer for this. We let this sit for a couple of minutes at least to warn people about spoilers.
Okay.
I ended up deciding I'm gonna make a whole screen for that so that I don't necessarily need to so I can let it sit for a bit and not have to just flat out mention every single time I'm going to spoil things.
Yeah, good call. So, for those who haven't watched the entire franchise back to back,
Or even not back to back. Though why you would not watch it back to back, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, they can do front to front, honestly. Yeah, like, they can watch the commercials in the beginning and then they can just move on to the next one. Okay, but anyway, if you haven't seen them, skip this part of the video, because this is going to be like major plot spoil.
I wouldn't be surprised if the whole video is plot spoilers, hence me ending up mentioning I'm gonna have this sit up for a while we mention spoilers being a thing, and then I'm probably going to switch it back.
Yeah, but it's not like we're going over like every movie in the franchise.
That's true.
I mean, we are technically, but
in theory, yeah.
I mean, like, we're basically talking about the morals of John Kramer, right?
Yeah. To be fair, if you were watching a video about the morality of John Kramer, you likely have seen at least a couple of the films. I'm going to assume.
It's like, if anyone hasn't watched like the first one, they're just gonna scroll right by this video. Like, who the hell is John Kramer? But
yeah.
Next video, I'm gonna watch some Markiplier FNAF video. Okay, so anyways, do you want to tell the story or do you want me?
It's been a little bit since I last saw films.
Okay, I'll say it then, since I've watched all of them twice and I'm on my third marathon.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a marathon. I had watched them last year in a marathon. Okay,
so, anyways, start from the beginning. John Kramer was a simple man. He had a wife. He was very old at the time, and he got his wife pregnant. She worked at a hospital, and John was an engineer, a civic engineer, more specific. And so, one day, a drug addict, I don't remember his name.
I think it was Cecil.
Cecil, that's it. See, you were helpful at times. Anyways, so, Cecil ran into John Kramer's wife,
with the door.
Right. She was at least 7 months pregnant with the baby. He broke in, he stole some drugs, but on his way out, he slammed the door on Miss Kramer's baby belly.
I think her name is Jill.
Jill. Right.
I think so.
Jill had a miscarriage, and
thus the horror soap opera was born.
Don't get ahead of yourself. So, after losing the baby, a few months or years later, John was diagnosed with brain cancer. So he attempted to take his own life by trying to commit some suicide via a car crash. But miraculously, he survived. And there's your cue.
Yeah.
And So the horror franchise began.
Yeah, the horror soap opera where almost all the films, if you don't know what you're looking for, seem like the same film.
To some degree, like I kind of mix up like one of the movies together. Like that one come first or this one come first. Okay, so
It doesn't help that so few of them have actual subtitles. They're just 1 through, like, I think it was 1 through 5 before they finally gave one a subtitle.
yeah. So we cover the backstory. So John, seeing how he was able to survive his near suicide, he started testing people who were supposedly, in quotes, ungrateful of their lives. Started testing them on traps, starting with Cecil, the man who killed his baby. So, John had him knocked out. He brought him to his workshop, I think it was anyways. Put him into a trap. Cecil passed, but he did not learn. So, he tried to tackle John Kramer, but got caught into a bundle of barbed wire. After Cecil, more and more murders, in quotes, murders, came. People titled him the Jigsaw Killer due to him carving out a piece out of the skin in the shape of a puzzle piece.
He also ended up having a lot of apprentices.
Those who have been tested by John himself and have passed.
Yeah, usually who ended up not learning really either.
Well, there is that, yes. I mean, there was, I think her name was Amelia.
Amanda.
Amanda. I'm terrible with names, by the way.
Yeah, Amanda, if I'm correct, the entirety of, like, 3, I'm pretty sure, like, the entirety of 3 is actually a test for Amanda, because she ended up still having not learned.
Yeah, it was a big test for her.
Yeah.
And then there was, Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman, who also rigged traps.
Yes, and he also created his own trap to get back on the guy who killed his sister.
Yep. Tried to frame Jigsaw. Jigsaw wasn't happy about that.
Jigsaw wasn't having that shit. So, Jigsaw took him, tested him, he passed, became his apprentice, started helping him with other traps in the sequels.
Yeah.
But of course, he rigged them so that no one can pass. Same thing with Amanda's.
Yeah. I don't think they rigged quite every trial, but they did rig trials.
Oh yeah.
There is the man who this image, if it ends up wanting to actually work right, thank you, that this image is based from.
Yes, Lawrence Gordon, or Dr. Gordon, as he's best known as. He was the first victim we see in the Saw franchise, in the very first movie, technically.
The first person we see is Adam.
Well, yes. Actually, yep, I see your point. Never mind.
Yeah, the first person we see is Adam.
Okay, fine. He's the second person. Yeah,
Point being, he's part of the first trap we ever see. And the
Yes.
first survivor we ever see.
Is that what you wanted to hear, DJ? Okay. Okay. I mean, wasn't there also like a fourth guy? Nah, like besides Hoppin, Amanda, and Gordon. Like there was a
yeah,
like he was
in Jigsaw. And
Oh,
seemingly
right.
completely otherwise unrelated.
Yeah, but there was also another guy, like, he was part of a trap with another dude who had his eyes sewn shut, and the other guy was, like, he had his mouth sewn.
I think that was...
Don't know.
I think that was someone's lawyer that I think got put in another trap
Okay.
afterwards. I don't think he was actually an apprentice. I think he got forced into another trap.
Yeah. And you thought if he, like, yeah, like, I assumed, like, he survived, he's, like, an apprentice. As he survived, he earned that title and whatnot. Okay.
Not necessarily, but he did survive. I think the first thing. I don't remember why he ended up getting brought back though to another trap. That I don't remember.
Well, by then, Hoffman was the one setting up the trap, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah. It definitely was. Because
by
Amanda's
then,
dead in the by the end of the third one. Hoffman's the only one left after the third film, other than Gordon, who he doesn't know exists as a
of course.
as a guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see.
I think we've covered like the gist of it. So let's go back to the topic at hand. The morals of John Kramer. I was about to call him Dr. John Kramer. I don't know why. Okay.
Let's see.
So, in news, some people say that he's a murderer because he's put people in these traps. Do you want me to wait before you change that image?
Huh. So yeah, it seems like either I think it might have been Hoffman, because I'm looking at it. Apparently his tape congratulated him for his survival and provided him with the instructions for another game. So Hoffman might have ended up just telling him, "Screw you for winning, you now must take another game."
Yeah.
So yeah, so he was not an apprentice, but he did get screwed into another game.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, continue.
Okay. Do you want to change the meal, or do you want me to continue?
I can change the meal over.
Yeah.
It's probably been plenty
So-
long enough that if someone hasn't seen the spoilers screen yet, or realized we've mentioned the word spoilers like probably 10 or more times at this point,
Yeah.
that's probably on them at that point.
Yes. Okay. So. People in the Jigsaw universe see John Kramer as a murderer because he set people in these traps. But ironically enough, these traps were devised to have those victims kill themselves in certain ways.
In theory. Yeah, basically the point we're getting at is Kramer himself does not think of himself as a murderer, despite his traps clearly murdering people.
That is very true, yes.
Yeah, which, the simple answer is yes, he is a murderer. By law, he is a murderer. But
yes. But
it is also true that he usually, I think there are some people where it's a little questionable why he targeted them, but usually, almost exclusively does he target people who take advantage of others.
yes.
Say that harming themselves.
My roommate notes also if they are harming themselves.
That's another thing.
Basically, they harm someone.
They harm someone, they harm someone else, or they take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically like the gist of. That's like how you can, like, contend to, like, Jigsaw's game.
Yeah,
Like,
that's basically how you get voted in.
Yes, basically.
Usually by some convoluted way having caused something to go wrong to him himself.
Yes.
Yeah. What we currently theorize as to why he doesn't think of his traps as murders is because he probably thinks of his traps as tools. So like a knife is a tool.
Yeah, a knife can be seen as a tool, but it can also be used to harm someone.
Yeah.
Same thing with like a gun.
Yeah, if it's used wrong or technically in self-defense. But in this case, if it's used wrong, the tool can be used to harm someone.
Yes.
But yeah, so our current guess as to why he doesn't think of himself as a murderer is because he views it as he gives them the tools to better themselves, and it's their misuse of the tools that ends up murdering them.
Yes, that's how it usually works. Like some people misinterpret it, some people use it wrong, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Most of the time in Saw, it's just like people screwing each other over.
Yeah.
In one
Like the
trap.
one where they end up getting to the end and they realize if everyone had ended up working together, all of them could have made it to the end, and all of them would only have to give a very little bit of blood.
Yes.
But yeah.
Like that's a good example.
Yeah. It's also of note, he seems to use that he's not a murderer as a way to excuse why he shouldn't be put in jail, even though kidnapping would also get him put in jail. He kidnaps a whole lot of people.
He kidnaps criminals. Like, is it so bad? Like, or is it like one of those scenarios where like two wrongs don't make a right?
It's one of those things of where two wrongs don't make it right, but it is funny to laugh at the thing. It reminds me of a thing I had seen of it reminds me of, I think, a meme I had seen about if someone kills a killer, there's the same number of killers, and then the person then goes, kill 2, and basically it goes, well, now you actually are decreasing the number.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in theory, it should still not make it right. It's still wrong. It is good intentions, still wrong.
Sometimes the ends don't justify the means.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
No.
How does the saying go?
The normal version of the saying is the ends justify the means, so yeah, sometimes the means don't justify the ends, maybe?
Okay, that's what I was going for.
Yeah. Yeah, because especially considering some of the things... So some of the things that he ends up getting them on are like murder or something, but some of the things are also not nearly as egregious.
Yeah.
So that definitely wouldn't justify the means. Well, yeah. The means definitely wouldn't justify the end in that case.
I mean, what about, think of, Gordon, he was about to cheat on his wife, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He refused.
Yeah.
That alone shows a change of character, but of course, John wouldn't have seen it because he wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh, a quick side tangent. You want to know something fun I had heard as a theory?
What?
A theory of that Adam is a secret, that Adam is a secret apprentice, because the games following that still have photos taken in the same way as Adam took of Gordon.
That would make sense.
And that, for some reason, despite all the effort put in to make the bathroom look the same, the skeleton has the cuff on the wrong foot. Whenever you see the body.
Error.
Yeah, that could be a consistency error, but it is funny to think about, because it could be something that they didn't even think about, because they were just like, ah yes, showing the photos beforehand helps showing that he has researched these people.
I mean, that theory alone could make sense, how we're getting these shots of, the things that these people have done or might have done.
Yeah.
It's
So,
the same
it's likely not true, but it definitely is a funny thing to think about, of that what may be an oversight, what may be 2 oversights leads that to be completely plausible.
Yeah.
As well as that someone had timed how long Amanda was strangling Adam. He could have held his breath. It is possible he could have held his breath that long.
No, I don't know about that. He was a smoker.
That's true. I think.
So
I don't
I
remember
doubt.
exactly. Yeah, that is possible, but in theory he might have been able to. But yeah, it definitely is interesting.
I mean, another thing to consider is that, he took him by surprise, so I don't think he's gonna be thinking, oh, well, she's gonna strangle me, I should probably take a deep breath before she does.
He could have also ended up, in his time of just laying there, doing nothing, learned a bit better how to act. Especially if he's just been laying there in the floor for potentially a while. I don't know how long that interaction is, since in between Gordon and Kramer leaving and that happening. So in theory, there may have been little to no time, or there could have been a decent bit of time. I don't know, actually. But that would be interesting, because if it was a decent amount of time, he definitely had time to potentially lay there with nothing else to do but lay there, and then be very familiar with how a still body is.
But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
Yeah, side tangent over, back to Kramer. That is morals. Yeah. It is interesting that I'm pretty sure the only two characters, because I know that the Jigsaw apprentice, I ended up getting sidetracked, so I didn't look at his name. That apprentice rigs a game by pretending at the end of it. We know that Hoffman rigs games. We know that Amanda rigs games.
That's for darn sure.
Yeah. So the only people that we know of that didn't rig games are Kramer and Gordon. Though Gordon's might require a little explanation.
I mean, the only game that I saw like Gordon create was one for like Hoffman.
Yep, Hoffman.
At the very end of the series.
Yep, and the thing with
Hoffman,
Jigsaw. Yeah, and the Jigsaw one is Logan Nelson. But yeah, so the Hoffman one, though, I could see someone saying that's a rigged game because the hacksaw got thrown out of the room.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the answer to why that's not rigged is because it was either an unstated game of you do not kill Jigsaw's wife, or it was an unstated game to the people watching, and it was in the tape that Gordon got, or it was just flat against the rules.
Might have been, it could have been either one of those.
Yeah, at which point that means that Hoffman ended up being forfeit anyway.
Yes.
So he already lost. That was just his punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been it. Well, his wife, so he basically just forfeits the game.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't get like any chance of like releasing himself or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, because
he had a chance when he was tested like twice in a row, and he did not learn.
Yeah, and like I said, it could be something that was not announced to Hoffman, because why would it be announced to Hoffman?
Yeah.
A lot of the tests aren't explained until after, fully to anyone until right as they're being tested.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That also explains why he wouldn't necessarily know that. Yeah. So that is also interesting, of that he definitely believes of having some form of fairness, but at the same time it's not at the same time it's still not good. It's still murdering people.
I think also he like he believes that like some of these people can, like if given a chance, can redeem themselves. Like that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his intention. That's definitely his goal. He has, like, I think the only person that he has potentially succeeded with, the only people that he might have actually succeeded with was Gordon, and then the twins from the opening of Saw 3D, who were working with Gordon when they captured Hoffman, because I think that's who it's supposed to be, at least. It's
really
not
think
shown.
So?
I think I saw something about a director's commentary saying that's who those are supposed to be.
Yeah, watch that during the end of my marathon.
Yeah, but I think it was that the director's commentary or something about it said that it was supposed to be those two. In which case, those would be the other two that probably actually grew from the experience, given what their trial was.
Yeah, they were both fighting over one girl.
Yep.
And of course, the girl cheated on like both of them.
Yep.
At the end, they were like, "Fuck that girl, we're gonna saw her in half."
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. It's like she kept ping-ponging between the two boys, like trying to get one or the other to kill the other. Right?
Yeah. Here's a fun question. How did Hoffman set that up in the middle of the public area to be a public showing? And how did no one try to break open the trap from the outside?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, there's a game on. Let's go watch it. Let's not do anything to help.
Yeah.
But that's what blew me away. Like he was able to do it in the middle of a public area. No one ever drawing any attention to it whatsoever. Not thinking, oh well, this kind of looks weird. We should probably phone the police. Construction workers are like, it's probably nothing. It's probably some new advertisement or some shit.
And
It's like, what the hell are those people thinking?
I don't know. Maybe in theory, it ended up being like loaded up on like some sort of like forklift pallet, and then he dropped it off in like the middle of the night from like a warehouse. But that still is rather involved for it to show up in the middle of the night from like a warehouse on like a pallet. Exactly. That would explain why no one realized it was there until it began.
Maybe that would make sense, but at the same time, it almost doesn't.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it is definitely interesting. Would you like to know who the apparent people he's going after in X is going to be? I haven't seen it. I just know what I've read from the synopsis.
Honestly, dude, I can't predict the kind of victims that like John or his apprentice will ever kidnap. Like it's almost random. It's like every movie introduces new victims, new characters. Sometimes brings back old ones like Amanda or Hoffman or Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah, would you like to know who it was based off the synopsis?
Who?
It's people who end up falsely claiming medicine stuff. Medical treatments. Like completely fake medical treatments just to scam people.
Oh, those kind of people.
That's apparently who he's going after in the newest one.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's a good example of where he ends up definitely going after bad people in a bad way. For the most part.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That is definitely a thing. It ends up putting him on this... It puts him in a point of where it's one of those cases of he does evil things, but is not supposed to be flat evil. So, in theory, he fits somewhere in the gray area. Probably a darker gray, I would assume.
Yeah, he's... Like, if he's, like, on the hero to villain scale, I would say he's, like, more, like an anti-hero who's, more leaning towards, like, the villain side.
Yeah.
Sort of like, Venom.
Yeah, where it's very clear they can be good, but they're not doing it right.
Yeah, exactly.
At all. They are doing it in a way that it is. They could easily be considered villains themselves.
I mean, yeah, especially through the amount of hell the victims went through.
Yeah.
Like the traps kind of overshadow like the badness of the victims.
Yeah.
What I always loved about Saw, you know. It's like in the first movie, like, all these poor guys, and then at the end, I was like, well, these guys are assholes.
Yeah, and then it kept getting more and more extravagant.
Exactly, yeah. Yes.
Which, on one hand, makes sense. Jigsaw's an engineer. On the other hand, there is a point where it does not justify the ends anymore.
No. At this point, it's just straight murder.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I've vaguely mentioned Spiral definitely doesn't have like any John Kramer in it other than a brief mention. But yeah, they ended up doing something neat with the design stuff there. Of where the traps are designed differently than how John's traps are designed.
In what respect? Like, are you saying, like, how they're designed, or how they, like kill people?
In being simpler.
Simpler?
Yes.
How simple?
They aren't as complex in the sense of you would need, like, a good knowledge of engineering to accomplish. They could be understood a bit. They're a bit more of a simpler thing of where, in theory, you could kind of get anyone to end up potentially coming up with this.
But it's like a grade school leprechaun trap.
I'll use for an example the one that if I'm remembering correctly, shows up in the very opening of the film, so it's not like it's probably spoiling anything. It ends up being that a guy's tongue is basically bolted in between two plates of metal and needs to rip it off in order to survive, otherwise a train is going to hit him. So a lot simpler than John Kramer's very elaborate traps.
Yeah, you're smothered in a flammable liquid, and the only way you can see the code on the wall for the end the poison that's coursing through your vein.
Yeah,
Balls.
or something like the blender.
Oh yes, from Jigsaw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot more elaborate. Why did I think of the blender before the reverse bear trap as an example?
I don't know. Like that's what I thought you were gonna mention first.
Especially considering I almost did that for the Saw theming for Mew instead of Gordon's shackle and hacksaw.
I mean, to be fair, both of these are like iconic scenarios in Jigsaw's games.
Yeah.
So I think like the way it would work.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up going over to this because I have made a Mew into Lawrence Gordon before. So I went, I'm just gonna do that. I have not made a Mew into Hoffman, Jill, or Amanda, and I don't plan to.
Wait, really?
I don't plan to.
Yeah. Made like anime girls in their bikinis before, but why not like Amanda or Jill or Hoffman?
Because my selection of characters comes down to what characters I like.
Maybe.
I don't like the character I like most in Jigsaw in the Saw franchise. I might eventually do Jigsaw, but the one I like the most, for some reason I'm not even fully certain why, is Gordon. Amanda and Hoffman are kind of just there, as is Jill in my opinion. So hence me not likely getting to them.
That's true.
So that answers your question of why not them, compared to other characters that I actually like a lot.
Hey.
Of which one is I'm not gonna of which one of those I am not going to explain why, because there is one I know I've done of which would be spoilers if I explained why.
What were you gonna do?
No, there's one that I've done that would be spoilers if I explained why, so I'm not going to explain why.
Okay.
Anyway. Let's see. Is there really anything else that we can think of to discuss of Kramer at the moment? Other than that, I might eventually put him on the list of characters to be in one of my polls of what character I make Mew into next.
I mean, other victims can we think of from like Jigsaw's game that like probably didn't deserve it?
The wife of the one guy in the school, where they ended up being speared together.
Oh, yep. Ugh. God, that's.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what kind of painkillers that like Hoffman has, but like gotta have some like high grade painkillers, or at least some sort of.
You know what else?
Narcotic.
I wonder whether or not this was actually Jigsaw's intention, or whether Hoffman screwed with it some. The guy who faked going in a Jigsaw trap and wrote the book about it, that guy's a wife.
Oh yeah, that guy.
His wife.
Oh yeah, like.
I wonder if that was not Hoffman fucking with shit.
I feel like it has to be Hoffman fucking with shit. It's like, I don't think Jigsaw would be the type of person to... Although he did threaten to have Gordon's wife and daughter killed in the first one by Zep.
That is true. That
Actually,
is
speaking
true,
of Zep,
but in the sheer way of... But that would have been by gun, which would at least be quickened. Not painless, but it would be quick. The brazen bull, which happened to the guy's wife, would be excruciating.
of course, she was encased in like a cage and was like burned alive, like a
Boiled
vase.
alive. Not burned, boiled alive due to sheer heat. There was no fire actually jumping at her within the thing itself, from what I understand. It was just from the heat of it. It was just from the heat of the metal casing itself. So if I'm correct, that also leads to there was no smoke that she could have died from first. She died from the sheer heat within it, which I would suspect would take longer than dying from having smoke in your lungs. It would also probably start to boil skin and muscle tissue before you finally die. It would be real ugly and real excruciating to the point of I don't know that he would be willing to go that far over someone who didn't even realize the book was faked. That seems way too much. Because the wife didn't realize that book was faked.
Yeah.
So, to have such a sheer, horrendous punishment for her doesn't seem like it was, doesn't seem like it was a good thing. It seems like something that Hoffman might have fucked with. It could have been initially something like... It might have initially been something along the lines of maybe he had to pull himself up out of it. The guy who claimed he had ended up puncturing his pecs with the hooks. Potentially he might have had to climb out of it. The other thing is, it's noted that Jigsaw seems to know that that is impossible. So that's the other thing. Since that is impossible, that whole thing is therefore rigged. If that was what Jigsaw wanted to have happen, without any form of help for the guy, outside of that, and that doesn't seem like, which makes that seem like something a little out of character for John still.
Yeah.
So it could be a case of Hoffman fucking with shit again.
Yeah. I mean, it proved to be impossible when the guy who punctured himself, it basically ripped through his skin at, when he was at the top.
Yeah. It ends up being a thing of... It seems like that would be not something that would work. And it would probably be something like he only needs to go up a certain amount and maybe end up standing on something that that if Jigsaw himself held it, he would probably do.
Yeah,
or something to end up preventing him from not being able to do it at all. especially then also that the wife got put in the fire of the in the brazen bowl instead of the guy when it's rigged. Doesn't sound like a thing Kramer would do.
No.
That seems too far, even considering Gordon's family was at risk with the original film, due to the sheer suffering that would cause, all from a rigged thing.
I see. Yeah. Like the whole point of like John Krabs was to be as possible.
Yeah, everything needs to be possible. It's skewed towards highly improbable, but it is theoretically possible.
Yes.
So
I think it has to be like a thing of like Hoffman's.
Hoffman messed with it a little, probably. If it even resembles anything like that initially. Because I think it did show Hoffman learning some about engineering.
Yeah, I think it like showed it at like the very end.
Yeah, so it might have shown he worked with Kramer a little and was taught a little about engineering. So he might know how to actually engineer stuff himself. And so some of the things we saw might not have even been Kramer's ideas.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, if it was Kramer behind the wheel of, like, that guy, he would have, like, put a stand, like, at the very top.
Possibly, yeah.
To, like, help support his weight, too.
Yeah, something. Maybe it'd be something where it just supports his weight just enough, but it would still end up being, like, a challenge. Or it's like a really tiny thing and you need to then balance or something, so that it's still nearly not possible, and it would probably not be his wife in the brazen bowl. Because again, that still seems extremely harsh for what's effectively a bystander in that situation.
Exactly. So we can definitely deal that one out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what about the victims in like in Jigsaw?
I
like,
don't. I can't remember I can't remember most of them that well. I'm pretty sure that I don't know whether or not that one may. I'll double check. That one may have been completely the Apprentices' job, that one. To recreate the old game that he was a part of. That was never found. So he may have ended up just finding lookalikes and just made it up himself.
Yeah, I remember he basically did that. He recreated the game and grabbed like duplicates of the victims that were never found.
Yeah. So that one may or may not have actually been that one may or may not have actually had good reasons for stuff, considering it seems like he might have ended up there for technically just murdered a bunch of people for no reason at all in reality. I don't remember enough about the film whether or not they actually did still have reasons other than the detective that he ended up basically rigging at the end. So yeah, I don't know for certain about that one. I'd need to end up probably either watching the film or watching the kill count again.
Yeah. think the kill count would be better.
Probably. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm trying to remember. Actually, I think the people we follow might be the actual people from a game. It's the corpses that they found are the recreation, but still same
Yes.
point. Same
Yeah,
point basically being though.
Like movie made us think that we were following along the same characters as their bodies are basically being dropped at the police station.
Yeah. But yeah, so what the people we are watching do indeed have a reason, but the corpses that we find, actually I don't remember if the corpses that we, what is interesting with the corpses, did he therefore rig every trap in that game to intentionally kill that specific duplicate? Or did he just end up finding like corpses or something? Because that would be the only way for it to directly match up.
That would make sense.
So that would make him... That would probably make him the most rigged one of all of them, because Hoffman rigged an occasional trap or two, and Amanda rigged an occasional trap or two, but for the most part the games were still not rigged. Mostly.
Mostly, yeah.
Meanwhile, from the sounds of it, that depending on how he got the duplicate corpses, that whole game might have been, that whole game that his whole duplicate game may have been entirely rigged.
Yeah, because I feel like at least one of them might have survived the exact traps that the originals were put. Like, maybe like Ender or like or even the cement saw wall thing.
Yeah.
Like where they had to give blood in order to stop us.
Yeah. Yeah. If it weren't for, it literally would be, in theory, it would have to be that if you don't have the exact same people, or even if the exact same people ended up doing everything, even if you ended up doing it the same way, the people who are doing the recreation, from what it's reading on the wiki, it sounds like they did indeed do the exact same trials. Indeed. So they definitely had to go through the same game. So they shouldn't, in theory, die the same way unless he rigged it.
Yeah.
So that
Like
those exact people must die in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's actually interesting.
I'm glad I mentioned that.
Yeah. Because that therefore...
Technically, in theory, we would have like 3 riggers of the games.
3 riggers of the games, and one who rigged every trap in a game to get the results he wanted. either that or recreated the game multiple times to end up getting it to end up having the right people fall to the right thing.
Well, then we're dealing with more than just 8 missing people. Then it's like, can you imagine how many people he had to go through? How many lookalikes he had to find?
Yeah, and that he would end up having to. Well, it looks like you have 5 people in the first room for that series of traps. So that
where did I get 8 from?
I think there are some traps with 8, or there are some with even more. So that's not an invalid number to guess off the top of your head. I just happen to have the page up for the bucket room, the beginning trap of Jigsaw.
To be fair, yes.
Yeah, so
Bill, if that was the case, you're had to be like dozens of like dead bodies that guy was keeping. Just
yeah, so there would have to be like many dead bodies that either failed the games themselves or that he ended up, to keep them from telling, intentionally let them die and then hid their bodies. But we don't... I saw something that reminds me of that. He would have to actually actively hide the bodies, because there's a room where there are 2 bodies from the original game, I'm pretty sure, that are just corpses. So he would have to, considering I don't think they found any excess corpses at the actual game, have had to clean up those bodies, those extra bodies and people, and do something with them. Probably kill them.
Definitely.
So there'd be even more people that he just flat out murdered.
If that's the case, he would probably have more kills than like Amanda and Hoffman combined.
Potentially. I know that Hoffman himself does kind of go at a little on a little murder rampage when he ends up being outed as the apprentice.
Yes.
So
that's true.
So he might have actually some level of actual kill count himself, other than the ones killed in traps. On top of it, that he's run multiple of the traps at this point.
Yeah, I think the guy in Jigsaw might be second place to like Hoffman's kill count.
But to be fair, our assumption might be that the guy in Jigsaw had ended up running his one game over and over again. So that could
going
still,
off of that theory.
So he still could. It could be close between those 2, but Amanda, I don't think, is anywhere close.
No way. She was like barely new to the thing.
Yeah, I think she only did like a couple of games that were rigged.
Yeah. She only killed like a few people.
Yeah. So it might be a battle between Hoffman and the Jigsaw's apprentice as to who ends up being the actual most kills.
Yeah.
Of an apprentice. Technically John Kramer for all of them except for a handful, and the extra ones in Jigsaw technically has some level of every trap.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, outside of like a handful where he was not a part of it, and the recreations. She
Yeah, but
technically
you still
has.
have some like schematics for the trap, so I think he would play some role into that after his
Yeah,
death.
that's true. Yeah.
Also, did you know that they made like Saw video games?
I
don't
knew that
really
there
know
were
about-
2 Saw video games, yes.
Yes. Though I don't know if they're like part of the universe or not. Not.
I don't know for certain. I think last I saw they might be they might be uncertain into how canonical they are.
Who knows? I
Yeah.
haven't watched or played any of it.
Yeah. 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 So that definitely, and I don't know if anyone actually realized or considered before that the entirety of the recreation might have been rigged.
Yeah.
Because it was either rigged, and that leaves that apprentice at like 5, or it was not rigged, and he has a whole lot more bodies hiding somewhere.
Probably using them to grow mushrooms like Hannibal Lecter.
Eh.
We went from discussing John's morals to like his apprentices rigging traps.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, he was only seen in like 3 of
He was
the many.
alive for 3 films.
Yeah.
And then all the rest are pretty much just him showing up in flashbacks.
Yeah, it was just him in flashbacks, and most of the murders in the movies were basically done by his apprentice. And
Yeah,
only
like-
one of them, 2, or actually 2, because Gordon.
Yeah, though I think Gordon his only direct hand, I think, was Hoffman. He ended up
Yes.
doing the surgeries for a bunch of traps, so he could technically be tied into those. But his only direct one that I know of is Hoffman.
Yep, the only surgery ones I could think of was like the eyes and mouth sewn, and like that one guy in the death mask, or like the key to unlock it was like behind his eye or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, funny story I had heard. You know how when they ended up doing a flashback to at one point where before Gordon was revealed to be alive, and it showed some apprentice sewing at one point and doing surgery. That apprentice has a limp, and it was not done to hint at Gordon still being around as an apprentice. It was just something the guy playing that apprentice did, I think, to add a little bit of character, and it ends up lining up nice with Gordon having a limp because of the missing foot.
Yeah, I like it when like directors just leave out unscripted things in movies, like in Guardians of the Galaxy, or
Where Star-Lord drops the ball. The orb.
yes, yes. That was funny as hell.
Yeah. To continue this tangent a little, I know that there was, in one of the old Punisher films, during a fight scene, they ended, the guy playing the Punisher accidentally stabbed the guy playing the bad guy he was fighting, and then they continued on.
Wait, what do you mean, like, accidentally stabbed him? Like, did he have, like, a real knife during that scene?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I think the guy playing the other character was like a wrestler or something, and he just went with it anyway.
Oh, Jesus.
But I would not be surprised if immediately after that scene they rushed him away.
I would hope so. Because otherwise the frickin' actor who stabbed him was gonna be tried for murder.
I think it was in the collarbone, so I think it was in a decently protected area. But yeah.
I mean, that's like some like, you've ever watched Crow?
I have not. I have heard of it. I know, if I remember correctly, didn't like some incident happen on set, and
Yeah,
therefore it ended up causing the actor of the Crow to pass.
Brandon Lee, yes. Like, one of the shots, guy who was played a role in the Crow's death, like, he was shooting a gun and, like, had blanks, but, like, one of the rounds got caught in each other, and, like, actual round, and, like, ended up killing Brandon Lee.
That reminds me, it's funny in a dark humor way, then that there was a similar thing with a film called, what was it called? I think it was a film called Rust with Alec Baldwin, where he accidentally shot, like, I think the director.
Yes, I've never watched the movie, but I know of the incident.
Yeah, that makes it kind of funny in a dark humor way, of that somehow happened at least twice.
Yeah,
to some degree.
But to be fair, like even though it's like meant to shoot like bullets, why would you point it at someone and then shoot?
That is, like, here's the fun thing that I know of from seeing a video of people who know more about guns than me. That gun ends up being the type of gun where it is not a dual action pistol. You cannot just pull back on the trigger and make it fire. You need to pull back the hammer yourself if you want to have it fire.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more weird that he then ended up saying that he didn't pull the trigger. So that's kind of odd how that ends up. I think I had seen someone theorize that maybe he had ended up pulling back the hammer while doing so, and it might have accidentally then pressed in on the thing.
Maybe.
But
still,
and that's also failing to comply with one of the major rules of gun safety. Never point it at something you aren't willing to destroy.
Exactly, yeah.
So, even then,
you gotta feel bad for the dude, though. Yeah, he's basically charged with, like, manslaughter. Like, he didn't mean to do it on purpose, but he, like, still killed someone.
Yeah.
Like, definitely gotta be killed record. Most of all.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was. I'll double check. Rust shooting incident. Yeah. So, yeah. Cinematography. Okay, so The cinematographer was fatally shot, not the director. The director was injured, though.
Okay.
The director did get injured, though.
Okay.
I think from the same
But I was
shot.
about to say, like, that if the director got shot, he was unable to see, like, finished product of his movie or show.
Yeah, let me
Like,
look. Did that ever actually release? It's not released yet. Apparently, it's still upcoming film.
Like, what? A film that literally had someone killed in the process of making it still be upcoming.
Filming was set to
never.
resume in January 2023, more than a year after the incident and ongoing lawsuits. Apparently the charges have been dropped against him,
Figures.
and filming has concluded now.
Oh. So now they've concluded now? Like, they're not going to continue making it?
No, they've concluded filming. In terms of they finished filming all they needed to film. It is in post-production now, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
From my understanding. So, yeah. I have no clue why someone would do that. Apparently there was also interesting, there was also apparently a spider bite incident.
What movie? Yeah.
Same movie.
Really?
Yeah, a spider bite.
There was a spider bite.
Where apparently someone was bitten by a spider that ended up where the guy had to apparently... I'm not doing the most in-depth researching, I'm kind of just off-the-cuff researching, so I'm using Wikipedia right now. But apparently, a guy got bit by a brown recluse spider and had to go through multiple surgeries to avoid amputation of his arm. And somehow this film is still getting worked on.
Jesus.
This sounds like a film that is destined to continue having problems. I mean, luckily they ended up finished actually filming, but still,
like, there was a spider bite incident and someone got killed on set. You're telling me this movie still was still being produced? Like, dude, I would have, like, got cameras and, like, leave that thing out to rot.
Yeah.
Like, no one in their right minds would even do that. Like, unless they're really, that desperate to make a quick buck, which seems to be the case here.
Yeah, it is. That does not seem good. I'm pretty sure from what I had heard, the Crow ended up being finished afterwards.
Yeah, they used a stunt double for Brandon Lee.
Yeah. Here's what will end up determining just how sheer of a buck that Rust wants. Whether or not it ends up being basically tributed to them.
It better be tributed to them. They basically gave their lives for the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I assume, like I said, I haven't seen The Crow, but I assume it was attributed to Brandon Lee. Yeah. Yeah, the film is dedicated to Lee and his fiancé. So yeah, that film is stated as being dedicated to them. I don't know, from what I'm seeing from this quick look at Rust, I'm not seeing anything noting that they have mentioned plans to dedicate it to them.
Well, I know some people are going to hell then. Like, dude, like, if I killed you while I was, doing, making a film that I didn't, tribute to Alright, I can't speak. Tribute to you in the film, and I am going straight to hell. Is that? Because, like, you would have to be a selfish person if you didn't tribute anyone who have died in the making of the film.
Yeah.
Like, that also includes any, like, animal that was killed during filming. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and like, I think in the first Friday the 13th that they killed an actual snake. It wasn't planned. They ended up killing the actual snake that they had encountered.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that snake put in tribute?
I don't think so. I don't know if that snake ended up being... I don't know if it was just a... I'm gonna look now.
Oh my. I'm gonna look first.
Because I don't know if the snake ended up being... I was gonna end up looking up if it was like just a random snake that they randomly found, or if it was like an animal actor. It was not a random snake. The snake had a handler.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
And they just killed it on set?
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucked.
Apparently, according to a thing I have found, again, rough searching, so maybe wrong, the snake's handler, who was unaware of the snake's fate, was incredibly upset and had to be held back by crew members after it happened.
I would be upset too if someone killed my snake.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked, dude.
Yeah. And here's the thing, from what I understand, it was an unscripted thing. So whoever the actor was just decided, screw this snake.
I don't know, like, I know it was a damn snake, but he had to have known that it was like a handled snake. Dude, that is messed up.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times that has happened where they brought like a trained animal on set and they just kill it. Whether it was like scripted or unscripted.
Yeah.
Dude. Can you even imagine the look on that poor animal trainer's face?
Yeah. I've also... I will know, we have now continued to just start rambling into other films.
Yeah, I just realized that like halfway. Like we're still recording.
Yes.
For sakes.
I guess I'll end up needing to putting morality of John Kramer, his apprentices, and what is, and the morality of whether or not you end up attributing films to stuff, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, let's just go with that. But it's not us getting sidetracked. It was planned. It was planned.
Yeah, it was all planned. All the planned, people. We were done talking about Jigsaw, and then we immediately started talking about like tributes and
yeah, without
movies.
acknowledging this, I guess we probably should actually see if there's anything else we have to say about Jigsaw before this just becomes however long.
I think I'm done.
Okay. But yeah,
Like,
before
I
this
think
becomes however whatever the time is, just rambling about films, mainly horror.
Yes.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, I can't necessarily think of anything else for Jigsaw.
Dude, my mind is still stuck on the subject of like movie tributes. So like I can't. Like my mind is like completely wiped from Jigsaw.
But yeah, I'm gonna take it then of that. This should be this should probably be like the end of the stream.
Yes, I think you should end it now.
Yeah, so see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time when we stay on topic.
Hopefully.
No promises.